Okay, hi everyone. Hi, I'm Hoshi. You can't see me because, well, I don't do face cam because I'm kind of a huge coward. So I'm going to do the thing. Usually when I have this camera, I'm unboxing some sort of weird Japanese JRPG. But today, I got the idea to show off my tiny little horror game collection that I've been building over the years. I got this idea from Vodka Haha. Hello, if he's watching this. He told me to send him a link, so yeah. But he did this, and it was cool. He's from Europe, so he gets the pleasure of having a copy of Siren 2. And he also has Kuon. I want Kuon. Me, but that game's like $180 on eBay. First, because it's less impressive, except for like the Resident Evil part, I thought I'd quickly go through some of the ones that I have digitally. I know that's super lame, but hey, I got some games here. Like, Fatal Frame 1 through 3 on PS3. They're like the PS2 games, but on PS3. I also have Fatal Frame 5 on the Wii U, because that game's only digital in America. I don't know about Europe. Maybe someone can tell me. But I should probably get Fatal Frame 1 through 3 on PS2. Speaking of Siren, I do have 2 copies of Siren. I mean, they're both PS2, but one's on PS3 and one's on PS4. I also have not Siren 2, but Siren 3. It's like episodic and it's an actual PS3 game. I think it's called Blood Curse. I'm not sure. Also on PS3, PS2 to PS3 is Demento, which in the West, or at least in America, is known as Haunting Grounds. It's pseudo sequel to Clock Tower. It's supposed to be in the same universe, but I don't know, man. Yeah, that game's also expensive. It's like $80, and I still want it because Demento is Japanese and I can't read Japanese, so I need an English copy. But yeah, I do have that. Let's see. I have Call of Cthulhu on Dark Corners of the Earth on PC. I do want an Xbox copy. The thing is, the Xbox copy, I think, breaks less. Or maybe it breaks just as much, but you can't fix it. Because I know there's a fix on PC. I don't know. But I should probably get an Xbox copy because I want one. I have a game called Curse Eye of Isis. I don't know what that is, but it's on PS2. Some survival horror mummy game. I don't know. And then Cold Fear, which some people might have heard of. That's also on PS2. Obscure 1 and 2. These cool little games that kind of play like Resident Evil Outbreak, which we'll get to in a moment. Yeah, and there's 2 of them. But, again, I have them on PC. I have a game called Dementium 2, which I think was originally a DS horror game. One of the few DS horror games, because there's Dementium and Dementium 2. And then there's that spirit camera game, the Fatal Frame spirit camera. I have Corpse Party. It's the first Corpse Party, but they've remade it a couple of times, but I have it on PC. I didn't want to get a copy on 3DS, though. And there's also the PSP copy that has, like, different art, because it's a different publisher. But then also there's a sequel to Corpse Party. It's not called Corpse Party 2, but it's a sequel to the first story, because there is a Corpse Party 2, but they use different characters. I have Fear 1, all the Fears, basically, on PC. So 1, 2, and 3. Until Dawn is 1. I do have Until Dawn. That's really cool. I like that. I like Until Dawn. It came out a few years ago. I just played Rush of Blood in VR, and that's not that scary unless you're afraid of spiders, in which case it is scary, like I am, so fuck that game. And finally, I have Silent Hill 1 on PS3. I just bought it recently because, don't tell anyone, I did a Let's Play before I owned a copy of it and I needed to rectify that. But I also have Silent Hill Homecoming on PC, which I thought about playing, but it might be a bit too bad and I don't want to go to the trouble. I don't know. Depends on how long it is. I didn't write it down because I forgot, but I also have Silent Hill Origins on PSP digitally, which I played. I have played, actually, so I'm not going to put a link. That's too much work. But, we ended on Silent Hill for a reason. Because we're gonna get to physicals. Physical games. I have Silent Hill 2 on PS2. Here it is. Yeah, it's just the base vanilla edition, which, I don't know. I got it because I thought I'd play it, but I kind of don't have any interest in playing it. I have this weird thing where I don't have an interest in playing any of the good Silent Hills. I just want to play, like, the bad, weird ones. Which Origins wasn't bad. It was just, you know, on the PSP. Ideally, you want to get, like, the director's cut or whatever they called it on Xbox, because that has more story. But, you know, Silent Hill 2 is Silent Hill 2 regardless. I don't know if they added anything other than story. I also have Silent Hill Downpour, which came out, I don't think it obviously didn't come out the same year. I think it came out, like, after Homecoming, quite honestly. And, yeah, it's not the last Silent Hill, because there's the Vita game, Book of Memories, which I want to get, which is even less horror. But this is still way better than Homecoming, I'm told, so, yeah. The back. It's on 360, if you've never seen a 360 box, or you've never seen a 360. I don't think it's made by Konami, I think it's just published by Konami. What's that? Oh, just 3 languages. Batra. Yeah. I mean, compared to those Silent Hills, it's not good. Maybe it's better than Silent Hill 4. I'm told Silent Hill 4 is really bad. But, I don't want to get into Resident Evil yet, because those are really, there's a lot of those. So let's see, what's do I have that's, because I kind of want to go into, like, the least obscure to most obscure, but, like, what do I know? Oh, here's one that's barely a horror game. Vampire Rain. Oh, I dropped something. Vampire Rain for the 360. It's also on PS3. There's, like, an updated version called Vampire Rain something. I don't know. But, it's kind of like Metal Gear Solid 4, except with vampires, and you're supposed to be more stealthy. It's not that great. I think as a horror game, it's not that great. I think they should have just continued to rip off Silent... Look, there's even, like, Silent Hill characters. Look, that's fucking Snake, man. Oh, man. It's not good. Yeah, let's do the one I dropped, which is Nightmare Creatures on the N64. Also, I think barely a horror game, but I mean, it's still cool. It's got a horror name. It's about as horror-filled as Bloodborne, which it gets a lot of comparisons to now, people who didn't know about Nightmare Creatures back then. It's kind of like ghetto, retro, Bloodborne. But hey, I know there are people that consider Bloodborne and Dark Souls horror games. I bought this off eBay, so I don't have, like, an actual box. I just have the cart, but what are you gonna do? Alright. Honestly, everything else in this collection is kind of weird and obscure, other than, like, Resident Evil. So let's start with PC, I guess. So I don't know if you have it. If you have it, I don't know, let me know, I guess. I have Clive Barker's Undying. Clive Barker's Undying. I don't know if that's how they say it in the thing, but it's fun to say it that way. Now that I'm remembering, I played this for my not shitstorm ripoff of the Best Friend show. What's it called? Spooky Games or Spooky. I installed it, but I couldn't get it to start, so I had to buy a second copy on GOG. So I actually own 2 copies of this game. 2, believe it or not. But yeah, it's okay. It's a first-person shooter. You're in a mansion. You shoot ghosts and monsters. I don't actually know what the fuck the story is. Oh, there's a curse on the island, and it's causing havoc on the family and the family's workers. But yeah, I'm more happy that I have, like, a jewel case of this. Oh god, where's the disc? The disc is missing. I wonder if it's still in the computer. Christ. Oh well. I also have this game. Now this game I personally kind of like. It's Flesh Feast. Yeah, get that right in there so that the light doesn't glare. It's gonna glare anyways, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Sega Soft, it says down there. I don't know what that's about, because I don't think it is Sega. Or is it Sega? Who knows? It's kind of a top-down. Honestly, it's kind of like Left 4 Dead, except single player. Except there is a multiplayer if you're using SegaNet. SegaNet? Where does it say SegaNet? There. Wait, that's not SegaNet. That's Heat.com. What the hell is SegaNet? Yeah, right there. Heat.com. Yeah. For some reason I couldn't get this to install either, so I had to like download another copy, and that installed and played. It's really weird, and it's not really buyable anywhere. Honestly, if I wasn't like window shopping on eBay, I wouldn't have heard of this, so I don't know how anyone would hear about it, except for this video. 100 views. Let's get people to know about Flesh Feast. Let's get those horror game collectors. I usually throw things behind me, but this is a jewel case and it'll make a lot of noise and it'll be very annoying. Let's go to Sega Saturn. I wish I had some Sega Genesis horror games, but I don't think those, except for like Sweet Home and the Jason and the Freddy game, there's nothing in that generation that counts as horror. We have Shinsetsu Yumemi Yakata. That's what it says on the side there. That's what it says there. You can read and believe that. This did come out in the West as Haunted Mansion, and then it got remade for the Sega. No, I think I'm wrong. I think it came out first on the Sega CD, the Sega Genesis CD add-on, and the Sega Saturn is the remake. Either way, they're both called Haunted Mansion. I think. No, the Mansion of Lost Souls? Something like that. I don't honestly remember, but it's a point-and-click adventure game. Actually, it's kind of barely a horror game. It's mostly just got a spooky name, the Mansion of Haunted Souls or whatever. But, yeah, I don't know. If that doesn't count, thumbs down, you're free to do whatever you want. The next game also probably barely counts, but at least its name is more obvious, and that's Horror Tour. Actually, I think this is kind of in the vein of D the Game, which I forgot to write on the list, but this is like that, and they're both kind of horror games in which they're, again, point-click adventures, but I think a lot of the horror is, like, trying to not get caught by death traps and stuff. Yeah. I couldn't actually figure it out. It actually had I couldn't play it long because there was like this ear-piercing noise that bothered me. I had to like quit. I don't know what the hell is up with this, but it's weird. I should show you the back. Except it's just got these really weirdly modeled, not good, not bad. It is a game from the 90s. Just really weirdly modeled because they're like bubble Barbie figures. They've got like section joints. I don't know if that appears on camera too well, but it's fucking weird, man. I don't know. Oh my god. Next would be PS1, which, okay, yeah. One of my, oh my god, the thing is broken. Look at that. When did that happen? Oh, honestly, one of my favorite, visual novels. Survival horror games. At least individual survival horror games. Martian Gothic Unification. This thing, I don't know if I'd say it does things wrong, because it just does the same thing that Resident Evil and Silent Hill does. Maybe not as innovative, but like, it does a lot of interesting things. Like, to sum it off, it pretty much predates the story of Dead Space. Guys go into space, there's like an evil, it's literally a bio-curse. It's a curse, but like, it affects you biologically and turns you into monsters. It's pretty Lovecraftian as well. I love this game. I had a fun time playing it. PS1 version is actually just a conversion of, the PC version. The PC version does look a bit better. Honestly, if this had waited, cause this was ported, this came out at the end of the PS1's lifetime, and it was ported in like 2000, which I think is right when the PS2 came out in Japan. If whoever ported it had waited, they probably could have kept the graphics. If not, made it better, cause I know like, the first Deus Ex and the first Half-Life got some sort of improvement on the PS2, but like, even as is, it's pretty good. It actually has a similar system to Resident Evil 0, where you're switching between 3 characters, where in Resident Evil 0, it was 2 characters. Kind of like a zapping system. You got to like solve puzzles, because you are all locked in the different sectors of the ship. But you couldn't get near each other because then you'd warp until you fucking solve the bio curse. It's so good. Just go watch me play it or you go play it. It's pretty neat. There is like a game-breaking bug though if you do decide to play it. I don't know where it is because I never encountered it. I shouldn't say game-breaking, I should say progress stopping. Something with the save file. Not horror related, but interesting to note, on the back of the manual of Martian Gothic Unification is an ad for a game called Darkstone, which I also have on PlayStation 1, and I actually just put a video out of it. That also is actually kind of super fun. It's kind of like this weird little Diablo clone, even though first Diablo was on PS1 as well, but it's still pretty fun and good. So, I'm glad I have both, but yeah. Honest, like 1 year, 2 years ago, whatever the year I played it, this actually, I think it won my game of the year, even though it came out in like 2000. But yeah, that's how good it was. That's how much I like it. It's so good. I'll always be fond of this little game. You know what? Nightmare Creatures is getting a remake / sequel by the guys that made Spooky's House of Jump Scares. You know, so here's hoping someone, and you know, if someone doesn't do it, old Hoshi will when I start making games. I can hire a lawyer and see if I can procure the rights to Martian Gothic Unification and get it a remake. Because if Nightmare Creatures can get one, and Fear Effect, which I don't have, but I will get one day. That's also almost not a horror game. I don't think it... Anyways, Nightmare Creatures and Fear Effect can get like a sequel and a remake. Here's hoping for Martian Gothic Unification. 100 likes for Martian Gothic Unification remake. We can make it happen. I gotta stop and move on. Boyo, we've got... I don't have the full case because I bought this from an arcade, actually. The Ring Terror Realms for the Dreamcast. Can you believe it? We have the Ring game. Wasn't that expensive. I don't actually know how much it costs on eBay or anywhere, but or Disc Replay or wherever you can buy used games in your local area. But if given more time, I could probably see charm in it. But the game's broken up into like these real world sections where you have to go around and solve people's problems about the ring, and then you go into basically a Matrix video game world, and that's where the ring happens. But like how long did I play? An hour maybe? I don't remember. I made a video on my weird shitstorm ripoff series. Yeah, I was like desperate to get back into that world because that world was so much cooler because it just looked like Silent Hill. But like not once did I see a ghost or anything. It was mostly just monsters. It was really odd, but like, so like as a ring game, it's really odd, but as a game by itself, it's actually kind of, hey, there's something there. There's something going for it, you know? Yeah. Okay. Now on to technically PS2, but since this game is by itself, because it's the only PS3 game here, yeah, actually, I don't even have a PS3 Resident Evil game with me. How about that? We got this game called Emma Beaky. I believe that's what it's called. I kept forgetting the name, so I had to keep looking it up, and I think it eventually drilled into me. It's Ikibikiso. Nope, I've lost it. I've forgotten it. But, in terms of playing it, it's not that great because it is pretty much a straight visual novel, so playing it in Japanese where there's no English, unless you know Japanese, is kind of iffy, kind of not something you want to do, unless you just want to, like, look at the pictures. It is not a anime visual novel. All the graphics are of, like, real life, so it's kind of like one of those FMV games that have popped up recently, except there's no motion, so. But, yeah. I couldn't tell you anything about the plot or anything, because again, it's in Japanese, but, yeah. I don't know. It was interesting. There's also a slightly updated Wii version, but the one with the PS3, because I don't really have a working Wii. I mean, I do, but, oh man. The fact that it can't play disc kind of just kills it for me, even if it is jailbroken, so. Here's hoping I can get a second Wii U, jailbreak that, and play Wii games off that. Don't tell anyone, though, that I'm gonna do that, because I think that's illegal. But yeah, Imabikiso. Alright. So, in terms of PS2 games that I have that are in English, we have Extermination. Oh god, I dropped it. Extermination. The developer isn't really... Oh no, there it is. I think that's the developer. Deep Space. Yeah, Deep Space, but published by Sony. I think Deep Space is just owned by Sony. They might have got it simulated. I think it's credited as the first survival horror game on the PS2, which is really weird. When did this come out? 2001? Yeah, okay, it could have come out. It could have came out then. Very similar to what Resident Evil would have been pre-Resident Evil 4. So I guess what Resident Evil 3 would have been like with better graphics. Or Code Veronica, I guess. I guess you could say just Code Veronica. Yeah. So, but, I don't know. I don't really know the plot. You're like in a space station. I guess kind of think Dead Space 3. Like how Martian Gothic Unification predated Dead Space. I guess you could say this predates Dead Space 3. But I'm only saying that because I know it takes place in like like an Arctic sci-fi base. If anything, it might as well be the thing. But yeah, Extermination. I do hope to play this one day. I do really want to. But, yeah. Other PS2 game. Until we get to Resident Evil, the rest are PS2 games. But, we've got Lifeline by Konami. I haven't actually been noting how many of these are Japanese. I think they're all Japanese, quite honestly. Except for Martian Gothic Unification and Nightmare Creatures. Okay, I will admit that. But, I mean, even so, like I said, I love Martian Gothic. But this is about Lifeline. Voice action adventure. I feel like that subtitle is trying to play off the also Konami game Metal Gear, where they constantly have the subtitle, tactical espionage action. But, yeah, if you don't know anything about Lifeline, this game's unique in that you control the character with your voice. As you can see down there, it says it requires a microphone. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not, but yeah, it requires a microphone, so, because I don't really have a headset that works with PS2. I have a Rock Band mic, but, I mean, setting that up, I had to either, like, duct tape it to the TV or something, or, like, rebuild my Coke can mic stand that I used to use in college for YouTube. But, yeah, you control your voice. Apparently that's really hard to do, actually, because a lot of the times it just doesn't work. What is that picture? She's in, like, oh no. I thought she was, like, naked first up there, and then I thought she was in a dress. Oh, that cuts off. You can't see it. I had to, like, bend down. Well, whatever. I'm rambling. Yeah. It's a cool idea. I haven't been able to play much of it. I did do a test play once, like, off camera, because that's, like, the only way I can do it. 'Cause, you know, I don't have a way to set it up. That sticker's in the way. I wish I could get that off, but, like, Yeah, sometimes when you peel off stickers, it leaves like a bunch of sticker residue. And that's like hard to get off, especially on plastic. Yeah. Lifeline. Okay. On to the more interesting games. We've got a game called I was gonna say Horror Ghost. Hungry Ghost. Look at that. Look at that almost Dark Souls Kingsfield fucking cover. My god. I actually have a copy of Kingsfield, but I don't think it counts as horror. This was, I don't know when the Zero age rating system in Japan was made, but like, at some point, they used numbers to say that was 18 plus. This isn't like a porn game. Wait a minute! Deep Space! I'd have noticed that! Because I don't remember Deep Space and, Extermination. Did they make this game? Oh my goodness! That's rad. That actually bodes well for Extermination, because what little time I played of Hungry Ghost, I actually really liked it. It's actually a first-person kind of dungeon crawling. It's not like dungeon crawling in Diablo where you jump from dungeon to dungeon. I think it's a bit more linear than that. But yeah, you play as this guy, you have a bow and a spear, and you poke things, you poke ghosts and skeletons. And Hungry Ghost is actually the name of a ghost in Japan, I think. I think it's some sort of vengeful spirit. But yeah, it's really cool. And it's really cheap too, actually, which I'm glad. Because otherwise I wouldn't be able to get it. There are fucking import games that are $30 that I still haven't gotten yet. But, yeah. Hungry Ghost. That's neat. We have, finally, a game called The Fear. Not Fear, not Alma Fear. The Fear. There's a little th there. I don't know if you can see that. The Fear. Now, the thing about this game is, let me just make sure that these are right. It's 2 cases. And I try to get that glare. It's 2 cases, The Fear, because it's not 1 disc. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 4-disc game. 4. Oh my god. It's a hefty game. I haven't played much of it. I actually tried playing it on the emulator, and it actually doesn't, it emulates fine in terms of running, but for some reason there's a bug where if you go into a menu, you can't leave the menu. So I was forced to get a copy. And this was before I could play import games on my PS2, long before. Now that I can, I just haven't had the time yet. It's actually an FMV game. So like I was saying, Emma Beaky is a visual novel that uses like, it doesn't use anime sprites, it uses real people. This is an actual full motion game that uses real people. I think it's like a bus full of students as well as a film crew, and they go into what I assume that haunted mansion on the cover, and stuff stops popping off. It's actually published by Enix, which, when did this come out, actually? Is there a year? 2001. So I guess this could be before Enix merged with Square. Which, I thought that happened in the PS1. I thought that happened with, like, Final Fantasy VII, but I could be wrong. I'm probably super wrong. Yeah. Funny thing, though, when I bought this from eBay, the guy sent me, disc 3 and 4, the second set, and I asked him about it. It's like, hey, you didn't send the first 2 discs. He was like, okay, I'll fix that. And he fixed it by sending me off a new copy of all 4 discs. So now I have 1.5 copies of The Fear. Right? I have 2 copies of disc 3 and 4. That's fucking bonkers. And he never asked for it back, which is fine because I'm not really good at returning things in the mail. By that I mean I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to mail things. I'm very sorry. I'm not an actual adult. I forgot to mention before we move on to the shit show that is Resident Evil, I do have an actual physical copy of Parasite Eve, the first one. And the reason I forgot to bring it out is because it's actually being used as a stand for my PS2 that's right behind the PS4 here. Yeah, I have Parasite Eve 1. I also have Parasite Eve 3, which is not called Parasite Eve 3, it's called The Third Birthday. I don't think Parasite Eve is even in the name, which is appropriate, because, well, I don't know why. The whole thing is weird. But, I do have that one. Not physically. I was going to, but time's passed. But I have it digitally on PSP. And I actually played that, because that's actually the only one I wanted to play. So, I had to get it out the way.